Connie Fitzsimmons. I'm your Washington Realtors Legal Hotline lawyer, and today we are reaching into the Legal Hotline mailbag for questions that are the most current and of greatest importance to your practice. First question is, and this is a product of our very busy seller's marketplace. First question is, if buyer submits an offer without an inspection contingency or early in the process waives that inspection contingency in order to make their offer more competitive, does buyer still have the right, once we get to mutual acceptance, does buyer still have the right to inspect the property just for their own benefit? They just want to know, they know that they can't terminate based on the inspection, but they want to know what kind of repairs they're going to have to make as soon as they take ownership of the property. So can they just perform the inspection if they've already waived the inspection contingency? Before you answer the question, go ahead and push the pause button. The answer is, if buyer doesn't have an inspection contingency, buyer has no right to inspect seller's property. Form 35, the inspection contingency, the statewide forms inspection contingency, requires seller, by signing that form, to give buyer access to seller's house for buyer to either do their own personal inspection or bring in a licensed inspector. Without Form 35 as part of the transaction, then there is nothing in the transaction that requires seller to provide access to buyer's inspector. If seller wants to provide access just because they want to provide access, then so be it, they can do so. But if seller says, no, I don't want an inspection done on my property, seller has no obligation to allow buyer and buyer's inspector into the property. So buyer brokers, make sure your buyer understands the consequence of entering a purchase and sale agreement without Form 35 in the transaction. If there is no Form 35, buyer has no right to inspect seller's property, even for the buyer's own personal information. If you have questions on this topic or any other, please send an email to me, legalhotline@warealtor.org. Thank you for being a Washington Realtors member.